No, the 2020 Minnesota Vikings are not as bad as their 1-4 record suggests, even though you are what your record says you are. Yeah, the Bill Parcells famous line that we always throw out there in jest. Even though Parcells, massively overrated, never won anything without Belichick. And cool, he was a mentor of Zimmer. Awesome. Great job. But under Parcells' logic, so that means that the 5-0 2016 Minnesota Vikings under Sling and Sammy Sleeves, Sammy Bradford, would be the greatest team in NFL history and not end up 8-8 and miss the playoffs. But I digress there. So the Vikings have lost to 3 undefeated teams, 2 by 1 point after blowing double-digit leads, which a whole nother can of worms. Colts do have the best defense in the NFL by most metrics, and they're better than their 1-4 record suggests. Or do you really believe that the Vikings are as bad as the fellow 1-4 Washington football team or the 1-4 Jaguars? Do you really believe that? Do you understand like the mental gymnastics and cognitive dissonance to actually believe that? It's just you have to twist things a lot, right? And so the record of the teams who the Vikings have lost to is 16-2, 13-0 if you punt on the Colts. Also, if this team is so terrible, then why are they favorites in 7 of the final 11 games? Does Vegas hate money? Do they not? We need to call up Vegas. We need to call up this industry that generates billions of dollars year after year, except for 99 when the Rams won his 251 long shot on the futures market. But we need to call them up. We need to call them up and be like, hey, your lines are wrong because the Vikings are 1-4. Don't you mean that they are basically ceased to be, that they are as bad as the Jets and the Giants and the Falcons and Washington and the Jaguars? Don't you know this? Dummies who generate billions of dollars a year. Okay. So if Madison gains a half a yard, or if Cam Dantzler actually covers his effing guy twice, I mean, does that really change things? Does that really change the composition of this team currently, besides the record, right? Are the 2-3 plucky Vikings who can beat anyone, who can clang a bang, who went on the road and shocked the world on prime time against the big bad Seattle Seahawks versus the 1-4 Vikings who some fans think they should tank? I mean, what really separates those teams? Nothing. Or say a Holton Hill miraculously hangs on to that pick and totally redeems himself against the Titans. Vikings are 3-2, world beaters. They beat the Titans. They beat the Seahawks. They've won 3 games in a row. Oh, Super Bowl, homeboy. Again, those two plays, the cliche, a game of inches. Like, what separates that team from the current 1-4 Vikings team? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is the same exact team. This team is still dangerous, and this team will still get after it. And the offense is starting to click. 400-plus yards of offense in 3 straight games, and they can shoot out with any team in this league. They're currently 5th in the overall PFF grade, as well as 8th in Football Outsiders DVOA. Also, it's amazing what the offensive line is doing since they only take the field with 4 O-linemen every single play. I mean, you think that they might get a flag thrown on them for taking the field with 10 men every single week, but I guess that's not a penalty. But defense is starting to get things together. They got home against Russ 4 times, all in the first half. Second half, not so much, but it is a positive sign of that pass rush. And then they're doing all of this without Danielle Hunter. They're the best edge rusher in the NFL, second in the league in pressures last year. Well, number 1 in terms of guys who didn't get to play Riley Reif twice. And then also they're doing it without Michael Pierce, their premier free agent run stuffer who opted out because of COVID. They're also doing it without Anthony Barr, even though that might be addition by subtraction. But he is a 4-time Pro Bowler as well as team captain. Yes, great teams close out the Titans. They close out the Seahawks. They get the job done. But also, bad teams don't build up 12 and 13 point leads over undefeated teams. They just don't do that. So the Vikings are a good young team that are still just trying to figure things out. They're trying to figure things out on the fly. This team would have greatly benefited from a true offseason and preseason, but you don't blame circumstances. Every single team had that. But this young team was going to be greatly impacted by that more than others. But they are starting to figure things out. Because remember the first 2 weeks when it was a complete disaster zone against the Packers, cancel the season. Against the Colts, cancel the season. All of a sudden, show a little spark against the Titans. Narrow loss. Steven Gostkowski, the corpse of him, makes 6 freaking field goals. Cool. Give that one away. You beat the Texans, which you should, by the way. By the way, bad teams don't beat teams that they should. So just keep that in mind. And then against Seattle, Sunday Night Football, 1-3, go up and shock the world. Just don't get it. done. And yeah, part of that was Dalvin Cook limping off in the second half, which is less than ideal. But as the schedule does open up in the middle of the season, and this team does get more experience together, Vikings will be a dangerous, dangerous team who no one wants a part of come December, as well as come January. But I guess we'll see. But again, you are not what your record says you are. Face. But your thoughts. Vikings better than 1-4? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Pull some of the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.